Good day, everyone, and welcome to our class. This is Readings in Philippine History, and today our discussion will cover Apolinario Mabini's La Revolucion Filipina. Now, the main objective of our discussion today is to learn and to understand controversies surrounding the second phase of the Philippine Revolution. Now, let's first have a quick recap or a quick background of who Apolinario Mabini is. Now, when we talk about Apolinario Mabini, he was considered as the brain of the revolution. He earned that nickname because of his very important role in the Philippine Revolution against the Spanish colonialism and later the American occupation of the Philippines. He has great strategic leadership, and he served as a chief advisor to Emilio Aguinaldo, and he also had a very good way of devising tactics. In fact, he was considered as a tactical genius. On the side of his contributions, he drafted the 1899 Constitution, which established the first Philippine Republic, and also advocating for the completion of the Philippine independence. And he promoted unity among the Filipinos at that time. He was a visionary, and despite of his physical disability. And with that, he was not only called as the brain of the revolution, but he was also called as the sublime paralytic. Now, we know that he was a paralytic because of his physical condition. At the age of 21, he contracted polio, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. And because of that, he was wheelchair bound. But despite of his ability, he maintained a very, very remarkable intellectual and leadership abilities. In fact, can never be questioned. Okay, he had this intellectual brilliance in him, and despite of his condition, he defied societal norms. He became very courageous, overcoming the stigma associated with having a polio in any way. In the 19th century, you have to understand that this ability was considered to be a drawback for a person to succeed. However, his disability, okay, was very much placed into the side because he greatly helped, okay, for Emilio Aguinaldo to succeed in his leadership. Okay, the term sublime paralytic, you have to understand, acknowledges Apolinario Mabini's greatness in his intellectual capacity despite of the physical challenges. Okay, in him, his dedication to the Filipino people and the leadership that served an inspiration, as an inspiration to many people. Okay. Now, what we have to understand is that biographically, we know that Apolinario Mabini is from Tanawan, Batangas, and he studied law in Manila before joining the revolution. And at the start of the revolution, he was imprisoned because of his involvement in the Katipunan. In fact, he played a very important role in the Katipunan founded by Andres Bonifacio. He was a member first of the Katipunan before becoming an advisor to Bonifacio on strategic planning, on international relations, and on tactics. So he was very pivotal, okay, in the making of the constitution of Aguinaldo's presidency, okay, and also he wrote influential articles promoting the revolution. But he was a diplomat. In fact, he negotiated with foreign governments, okay, and Filipino factions at that time. Now, his role in the Katipunan, despite of his disability, okay, becoming a sublime paralytic, or in the Philippines, we consider him as the Dakilang Lumpo. His role in the Katipunan showcased his brilliance intellectual brilliance at that, and definitely his commitment to the independence of the Philippines at that time. Again, as I said at the start of the revolution, he was imprisoned for his involvement in the Katipunan, but he was released from prison as part of the Biak na Bato Pact. Okay, that was the background of Apolinario Mabini. And of course, we know of Apolinario Mabini becoming an advisor and the head of the cabinet of Emilio Aguinaldo. He had many enemies, definitely, among Aguinaldo's cabinet. That's why he resigned from it. The enemy in Aguinaldo's cabinet was due to his strong stance on different issues and, of course, his commitment to Philippine independence. At that time, he was the Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of the First Philippine Republic, and his policies and definitely his decisions were often in disagreement with those of the other members of the cabinet of Emilio Aguinaldo. Okay, during the Filipino-American War, he was captured and imprisoned by the Americans. That's why he was sent in exile to Guam. Okay, this is where and when he wrote the La Revolucion Filipina, or the Philippine Revolution. Okay, now Apolinario Mabini, for our understanding, was sent into exile to Guam by the United States, by the American government at that time, because of his unwavering advocacy for the independence of the Philippines. There are political reasons why Apolinario Mabini was sent to Guam as an exile, because he was criticizing the colonial policies of US at that time, and definitely because of his leadership role, okay, in the administration of Emilio Aguinaldo. And then after a few years in Guam, he returned to the Philippines and he died of cholera months later, where he was only 38 years old. Okay, complications from cholera at that time because of an epidemic that swept Manila back in 1903. Okay, we understand that Apolinario Mabini had polio, and because of his physical condition compromising as well, and it somehow debilitated him all the more because of that. And of course, there was definitely poor sanitation at that time, okay, particularly in the hygiene facilities in Manila, which contributed to the spread of cholera at that time. Okay, so that's what happened at that time. So he returned to Manila in 1902 in order for him to regain his health, but because of that, he contracted cholera in 1903, and his health rapidly deteriorated at that time. Okay, and with that, because of his untimely death, we know of the many sacrifices that he made. However, even after that, his legacy continued, inspiring a lot of Filipinos, okay, because of his courage, of his patriotism, and his resilience, despite of his physical disability. Now, according to Apolinario Mabini, in his book, The Revolution, La Revolucion Filipinas, the revolution fell badly because Aguinaldo is responsible directly or indirectly for the assassination of Luna. However, if we're going to look back at the memoirs of the revolution as written by Emilio Aguinaldo, he admitted that he was the one who he admitted to the killing or the assassination of General Antonio Luna. He led that, okay, the orchestration of the assassination of Antonio Luna. Now, we have to understand that these happened because, one, because of his great appetite for power, and two, because his advisors feeding him negative reports about Antonio Luna. And with Luna's death, comes also Aguinaldo's moral death, which is 1,000 times more painful than physical death. Now, we know that General Luna's assassination was a turning point in Philippine history, contributing definitely and significantly to the downfall as well of Emilio Aguinaldo. And with this comes the death of the revolution too. Aguinaldo, uh, according to Mabini, Aguinaldo judged the worth of men not by their ability or their character and patriotism, but at least according to his La Revolucion, Aguinaldo judged the worth of men according to their degree of friendship and kinship with him. He practiced favoritism, and according to Mabini, Aguinaldo neglected the transgressions of his favorites, and because of this, the people neglected him. And as history has shown, in 1935, Emilio Aguinaldo ran for presidency against Manuel L. Quezon at that time. However, he lost badly because of his track record. And Mabini's challenge to the Filipinos in his memoirs of La Revolucion, he said that he closed his memoirs by challenging the Filipino people, the people of the future, to not forget these painful historical lesson and to avoid putting in power a leader whose character is like Aguinaldo's. Now, if you have the time to read La Revolucion Filipina and check the primary document of Apolinario Mabini, definitely we will be learning a lot more from what the revolution looks like at that time and the nitty-gritty of the events that unfolded right before Apolinario Mabini's eye. And that wraps up our discussion on Mabini's La Revolucion Filipina. Thank you for joining us today. Again, this has been Readings in Philippine History, and this has been Sir E, your instructor for these course. Until I see you again next time, God bless you all. Thank you very much.